Culture swap.
Swap my culture.
What do we do this week?
This week, Liam, we watched the film Stand By Me.
Now, before we get into this, I have to say, I'm going to be biased because this is one of my all-time favourite films. Probably my third favourite film of all time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you'd said to me it was in your top 3.
It's my third favourite of all time.
Yeah, that's pretty high up there.
Yeah. It's only bested by Die Hard, which is my favourite film of all time.
And The Room.
No. And Grease, which I just love.
That sounds surprising. I'm surprised High School Musical isn't... Where's that on the list?
It's probably top 100.
That is not as high as I thought
Here's
it would
the
be.
thing. That Die Hard, Grease, Stand By Me, all 5-star films. High School Musicals, it's only a 4-star film. It's not a perfect film. Like, I love it, but I'm aware that there's a... you've got Gabriella's solo song, for example. That knocks it down a little bit.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I'm gonna be biased. I have to say that up front.
Yeah, that's fair enough. When did you, out of interest, when did you watch this film?
Like the first ever time?
Yeah.
Probably in my teenage years. Probably around the age of 16, 17. Maybe a little bit older.
Okay.
You've never seen it before, right? Which is why we chose it.
No, this was the first time I've seen it.
But, so one of the reasons why I was keen to do this is because I know you're a big Stephen King fan.
Yes.
And obviously this is based off of his novella, The Body.
Yep.
Which I'm assuming you've read?
Nope.
Okay. It's one of the
I love
very
Stephen
few...
King, but I haven't read his entire catalogue of books.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read hardly any of his, but this is one of the few. I've read this one, and I read The Mist short story.
Fair enough, yeah.
I'm more on board with his short stories than I am with his books, to be honest.
Oh, I like his books.
Yeah, so, brief synopsis. It's about 4 kids who basically go to see a dead body. They find out that there's a dead body. They're about 12 years old.
Yeah,
it was filmed in the 80s. I believe it was 1986. Let's double check that. Oh man, I closed the IMDb page down.
Same.
I'm sure it's 1986.
Just be confident.
I don't want to be wrong.
It's your favourite film, Liam. Third favourite film.
Third favourite. 1986, I was right. So, it was filmed in 1986, but it's set in the 50s.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is literally just about 4 friends and the journey they take to go and see this dead body.
Well, I guess it's also slightly set in 66 because you've got the bit where he's talking.
Yeah, there's a little bit, but that's kind of not the bulk of the film.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of it's bookended by the main character having grown up, and the film is kind of him telling this story. So you get his that guy's played by Richard Dreyfuss, who film fans will know him, but Jack doesn't.
Nope, no idea.
And he kind of narrates throughout the film, and just sets the scene, if you will. So what did you think?
It's good. It's not great, but it's good.
Right, what? How's it not great?
Okay, so here's my theory on this.
Okay, right.
I think it's probably partially the nostalgia effect for people. I don't think this film is a great film by today's standards.
What?
Well, okay,
So have you ever seen a film that you'd watch and you'd say that film's timeless? It doesn't matter when it was made. It's so good that it transcends time.
The first B-movie.
So it's like that then.
That was a lie. That's not true. I don't like B-movie.
What Star Wars?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I'm fully aware that Star Wars is a nostalgia thing. If you show someone the episode 4, 5, and 6, they're more likely to not enjoy it as much now.
I showed them to Kat last year before we went to see Force Awakens, and she was not a fan.
Yeah, I showed them to Tom. Tom did like them.
Yeah,
but I think he preferred the newer stuff.
Okay.
As in because which I get, as much as I hate some of the prequels, I get because you've got the special effects are there.
Yeah.
It can be distracting for some people to watch something that doesn't have great special effects. Especially films that rely on special effects. Even though, Star Wars does really well with the models and stuff. And
yeah, I mean, that's not really something that applies to Stand By Me.
No, it doesn't. But that's not... I wasn't saying that because of Stand By Me.
Yeah, no. We were just... Yeah, we got sidetracked.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Right, it's good. I enjoyed it. It's got a good story.
Yeah.
There are some... the story's not exactly complex. It is. It's got complex bits.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got...
Also, by the way, sorry, we didn't mention this, but you should know by now if you're a regular listener, we will spoil this.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
There's going to be spoilers. Now, it's quite an old film. It's 30 years old.
Yeah.
There's some quick math in my head there.
Very good, Liam.
But, you know, it's one of those films that generally, if you haven't seen it, it's only 88 minutes long. It's not going to take a long time for you to go and watch it. Just do it, and then come back.
Or not, it doesn't matter. But
spoilers. Let's go.
Okay, so, the complex bits that I enjoyed.
Yep.
I like the Teddy Deschamps stuff.
Yep.
Because I like the whole... I like the aspect of it where these kids are trying to understand why this other kid wants to kill himself.
Well,
or put himself... Because you never specifically... I think he does. I think there's a point in the film where he realises he doesn't want to.
Yeah, I don't think he is, like, suicidal.
I think he is. I think he 100% is.
Yeah,
that beginning bit where Chris tackles Teddy
to
get him off the tracks, I think at that bit, Teddy is genuinely being suicidal. But as a young kid, he doesn't know.
I don't think he's standing there being like, I want this train to hit me. He's standing there being like, I'm going to dodge out of the way, and it's going to be brilliant. Like, it's not him being like, I'm going to commit suicide. It's just him kind of doing that thing that kids sometimes do where they're maybe like... but
it definitely isn't.
No, because there was kids at school that used to play chicken with cars, which was fucking ridiculous, but I wouldn't say they were suicidal.
No, and they aren't. And
this
Teddy
is similar. He was playing chicken with a train.
The difference with Teddy's character, right, and the kids that play chicken, are when Teddy's trying to play chicken, his reaction to Chris knocking him off the tracks, isn't like laughter and being like, haha, I can't believe I got you and freaked you out, or anything like that.
Yeah, no, because that's not what he was trying
Teddy's
to do.
reaction is, I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Why did you stop me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I genuinely think that Teddy is contemplating suicide, doesn't necessarily know, isn't sitting there going, I want this train to kill me, but is putting himself in situations where he could genuinely die because some part of him wants to die.
I don't... Alright, that's fine. I'm not taking that away from you. If that's what you got from the
film,
you
100% are. Your immediate reaction to, I think Teddy was trying to kill himself, was no, he wasn't.
Right, if that's what you got from the film, fine. I'm just saying, personally, I don't read that when I see that scene. Or any of the film. Like, I don't see a kid who's suicidal. I see a troubled kid, definitely, and I think he's maybe flirting with the idea of death, but I don't think he is, like, embracing it. Like, I genuinely feel like the reason why he was angry at Chris for knocking him off is because he bit of an attention seeker, and he wanted that, like, that train dodge. Because later on, when there's another, like, scene involving a train, it's Teddy who's saying that was the greatest train dodge of all time. Like, I genuinely feel like he is just wanting to like, you know, like those kids that play chicken. It's the thrill of flirting with death, but not actually, I want to die.
See, I disagree.
That's fair enough.
Because that later scene where they do the second train, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be in my narrative of it, or what I read into it.
Yeah.
That is when he realises that he's not necessarily ready to get killed or whatever. That's like I said, he's not deliberately trying to kill himself.
Yeah, I think if he was suicidal, then the second train thing, he'd have just stopped running and he'd been like, fine.
No, because this is the thing, right? With that first train, he's the only one in danger.
Yeah.
I think that it's him coming to terms with the fact that he's willing to put himself in danger, all this bullshit. Then he crosses that bridge and it nearly kills his two other friends. He doesn't even come close to dying on that second bit.
Yeah.
His two friends do.
Yeah.
And that's when I think he realises that he's got other people, all that bullshit, whatever.
Yeah,
that's what I read into it.
That sobers him up a little bit. But yeah, for me, the way I read the first scene is just him basically playing chicken. I don't see him being...
Well, if you're saying that, Liam, it's going to detract some of this film from me, because that was one of the only bits that I found really good.
Okay, that's interesting.
I thought it was really fascinating, because I think it's interesting looking at stuff like that from the perspective of a child and how a child deals with these things. Like, his dad burnt his ear off on a stove. I thought that stuff's interesting, where you're like... Because I think that is the point of this film, right? Is you're meant to be looking at these situations that as an adult... Like, if you're an adult and you find a dead body, you know what you do. You call the police, right?
Yeah.
And it's more these kids trying to understand adult situations in their childlike world of sort of innocence.
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably like the most prime example of a coming-of-age film, right? Which is... that is basically what it's about. It's coming-of-age films. It's about that transition period. It's, you know, how you view things as a child, and also the experiences that would kind of... Then when you view those things later on, those experiences inform how you would view them differently. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and the other thing we have to bear in mind is I love coming-of-age films, and I also love, like, 50s Americana.
Yeah, this is like your ideal film.
Yeah, it's just a perfect marriage for me. What else did you like?
I like... I don't know. I liked all of it.
But it's
Like
not
I said,
great,
I liked this film. It's a good film.
but not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need
I
to
think
dig
the
into
bully
why
the
it's
bully
not great.
stuff the bully stuff, the older kids that are bullying them,
Yep.
is too over the top. It dragged me out of the film because all I can think is why would some 18-year-old high schooler
Yeah.
be willing to slit a child's throat because of a dead body?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Um,
That feels over the top and ridiculous.
I don't know, like, your experience with bullies, to be honest.
Did you ever have any of them threaten to kill you and properly do it?
Okay, so when I was at school, secondary school, there was definitely like a kid in a few years older who kind of like hung around the area where I lived, and he was just bad news, right? Like probably in jail now, to be honest. And there was an incident once where I'd got home from school. I wanted to get some sweets, and it was probably a good like 10-15 minute walk to the sweet shop that I wanted to go to. And I was going there by myself, and this kid was with like his cousin who was in my class. And it's the sort of kid where there were parked cars along the side of the road, and he was just jumping onto the bonnet, walking along the roof, onto the boot of the car, and then jumping off.
Yep, so a dickhead.
Yeah. And he sees me coming, and he like grabs me by my shirt and like lifts me up, and is like threatening me. And then it's only because the kid that was in my class was like, "I'll leave him alone, he's in my class, he's alright." That's like the only reason why he kind of dropped me, and I just ran,
no,
right?
I had shit like that. I had shit like that happen.
Yeah. Now, like I'm not saying he pulled a knife or whatever. I'm just saying I feel like what this film does with that character is you're still seeing that character. It's a little bit extreme, but it is kind of how you feel when you're in that sort of situation. I feel like it's entirely possible that maybe he wouldn't like actually slit someone's throat, and he's just he's being egged on by his friends. He's being a bit showy.
There's no way in that scene they weren't implying that, because it's at the point where like the rest of his mates aren't exactly happy that he's got a knife pressed against a kid's throat. There's no way the director was going, in this scene, this guy's just showing off.
I don't feel like he was going to slit anyone's throat, personally.
I mean, you're taking away any of the bits that I actually liked in this film. You're lowering the rating for this film for me.
No, but that's fine. Just because I read the film differently to you doesn't like diminish from how you experience the film.
Meh.
So carry on. Also, you were saying that was a negative thing. You were saying that's something that was drawing you out of the film.
Yeah, it was. But you've made it just even worse.
Okay.
Because like already, I'm not a fan of like I don't know why any of that happened. I don't understand why the bullies were in it. Like I get the point they're trying to make,
which is
like, oh, the bullies are not even like, not the overarching point, just the bullies are the bad guys who are also trying to find the body. That thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But like, why? Because that to me, the only thing that gives us is Gordy getting balls. That's the only thing that adds to the characters.
Yeah.
You don't learn anything new about Chris or Teddy or Vern. You only learn something new about Gordy, and that's that he'll look after his friends. That's what you learn.
Yeah, I mean,
I could have got that from any other scene. They could have had Chris fall in a hole, and then Gordy's like, everyone's like, we've got to leave him, Gordy, we're going to die. I don't know, mate. Like, I'm being over the top, but seriously, like, I don't think that added anything to the film for me. Particularly.
Well, you're wrong, because Kiefer Sutherland's brilliant, but that's fine.
Kiefer Sutherland is brilliant, but you could have just had him be a bully in town and not be in that final scene.
But no, but why that final scene works with Kiefer Sutherland in it, right, is because it sets up. So this whole film is basically Gordy's story, okay? Like, the other characters are important, and they each have their own moments, but obviously Gordy's the narrator. It's about him and his kind of transition from childhood into, like, not necessarily adulthood, but that wide-eyed innocence of the world being sort of removed a little bit. And the reason why that works with Ace is you have that scene at the beginning where Ace takes his brother's baseball cap off of Gordy.
Yeah.
As you said, establishes him as a dickhead, whatever. Then that all comes back around later on, because in that scene, Gordy 100% just lets that happen, doesn't stand up for himself. Yeah. So you then, after all of the experiences of the film, you bring that character back to once again have another confrontation, and Gordy stands up for himself. And that kind of, it demonstrates that transition. Yeah,
it does. That's true.
But
I don't know. It just strains. It's all a little bit like, the film doesn't do anything crazy. There's nothing crazy in this film. There's no like surprising events that I'm like, whoa.
No like aliens or anything ridiculous.
So that's good. This is a positive. These are all positives, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? But then it gets to that end scene.
Yeah.
And the bullies just happen to turn up at the exact right time. Ace happens to be, whether or not he is going to kill Chris, he happens to be like super aggressive in that scene.
Yeah, with a knife.
Exceptionally violent. It's all just, and that's Stephen King, because that's what he does. But it's like, I don't know, man. It just feels unnecessary, I guess.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not saying I didn't like this film. It was a good film.
Out of interest, right, and this isn't me like trying to pick holes in your argument or whatever, but just out of interest, how would you have ended the film?
I don't know how I'd have ended it, because I'm not a filmmaker. But if you'd have had it, that they go back to town and there's another confrontation and Gordy gets his hat back, which is a much cheesier ending. Yeah. Maybe there's some resolution there. Like, I don't know.
So one of the things, I before we started this, I was watching a making-of documentary on the film. So apparently Will Wheaton, when they were shooting that scene at the end, said to the director, Rob Reiner, I get my hat back now, right? And even Kiefer Sutherland was like, hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. So he says that, and Rob Reiner was like, no, that's not what happens. And apparently, in the earlier scene, when Kiefer Sutherland first takes it, Kiefer Sutherland was saying his first kind of instinct was to put the hat on. And Rob Reiner stopped him and was like, no, you don't care that much about it. You wouldn't mess up your hair. And he's saying, when he was talking to Kiefer Sutherland, he was saying, as soon as you got around the corner, you'd have thrown that hat away. Like, that hat meant nothing to you. It was just like a show that you were doing. So that's why later on, like, it's never explained in the film, but that's why later on he never gets his hat back, because it would have just been thrown away.
See, the hat was a minor bit in my end story, Liam. I didn't mind the hat. I meant more just you don't need the confrontation to take place by the dead body.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm just saying, like, I thought that was a fun little fact.
That is interesting. That is, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
I like the confrontation. I think it works.
It's just unbelievable. I don't mind the confrontation. Like I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable that they'll get there at the same time.
Okay.
Like, they're in a fucking car. Where were they? These kids just walked for 2 days.
Yeah.
What were the guys doing in the car?
Yeah. So you see the guy. The whole reason why the kids start off is because Vern overhears about the dead body from his older brother.
Yeah.
His older brother and his friend had boosted a car and had found the body while they were driving this stolen car. They weren't going to tell Ace about it because they didn't want to talk about the whole boosting of the car and stuff. Mm-hmm. But then, I think it even says in the film that they lasted like a whole 36 hours or something before they told someone in their little group. And then you have the scene where both of them are telling different people, saying you have to swear on your mother that you're not going to tell anyone. They say within 40 minutes or whatever, the whole group knew. So that's why there's such a time difference. You know, that's how.
But I'm sure but you see Ace and that driving before. Do you not see them driving before the first time the kids go to sleep?
They're not driving to the body, though.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, they don't find out about it until the next day. So yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. Like, it's a coincidence that, they show up, but...
Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with doing coincidences in films and, stories and stuff. I don't know. It just felt...
I was going to say, if you take coincidence out of film, you're left with, just a...
Yeah, exactly. You need it. It just feels out of place to me in that scene.
Okay, fair enough.
It's almost... Do you know what it is? It's almost like they're pushing too much revelation in that bit. Because you literally can get Gordy dealing with the death of his brother.
Yeah.
Like when he's doing the whole, why did you have to die?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, why is he talking to the body? And then Chris is like, no. You guys need to walk away.
Yes.
And all that, right? You get all these revelations. And then it's like, oh, and guess what? Gordy stands up for himself now. And it's like, oh, okay, that's such a minor thing compared to the fact that this kid is clearly fucked up about the death of his brother. Maybe it's that. I don't know, mate.
That's fair.
I'm trying to find a reason.
I don't want to take away from what you're saying, because I think you're making good points. I will just say, I think the standing up is a kind of cathartic moment. So, like you said, you have the whole revelation stuff, but it's not very, for an audience, it's not very cathartic, whereas the standing up scene is.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I have to say, I think all of the kid actors, because, again, I think Will Wheaton and Corey Feldman both turned 13 when they were making this film. Jerry O'Connell was the youngest. He was 11 at the time of filming. And I'm not sure how old River Phoenix was, but I think he was around 12, 13. They all give, amazing performances.
Yeah, they're some of the best child actors.
Yeah, I normally hate children actors in films. And it's not only that they're given, easy stuff to do either. They are actually acting in some pretty dramatic scenes at some points.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Why?
There's literally... So I finished watching it, and it's one of those films where I could have easily just put it on and watched again. Everything about it just works. It all just clicks so perfectly. The chemistry between the cast members that the way those friendships are brought to the screen. The soundtrack to the film is incredible. Everything just works for me.
Yeah, I liked the soundtrack. The soundtrack was good. And I
Yeah.
liked the friendship and shit between the characters.
Yep. Like the direction was fine. So one other interesting thing that came up in the making of documentary, he's saying, Rob Reiner, the director, saying normally if you have a film with young kids, there'll be a lot of edits because the director will like spoon feed the kid a line and only be able to like get that kid saying that line right maybe like once or twice. So they'll just have a little tiny clip, and you can really tell in the first Harry Potter film that's what they've had to do. Like the first Harry Potter was very cutty because they were literally just getting that one line and then moving on to the next.
Yeah.
And he was making a point that in this film, there's a lot of long scenes where you have all 4 of the cast members all hitting their cues, delivering their lines, emphasising like the right moments, the right bits, and like acting not as kind of like not acting as child actors, but actually acting.
Yeah, I can see that.
I also feel like so I don't know how much you know about River Phoenix, but he did die quite young.
Okay.
And I feel like, obviously not intentional, but now when watching back, it does give a certain poignancy to one of the last moments in the film.
Yeah, the revelation that he got stabbed however long afterward.
Yeah, well, that's what starts this whole film off, is the main character reads a newspaper article, which is about him getting stabbed. And I think he even says towards the end, like, he hadn't spoken in 15 years, but he knew that he'd never have, like, a friend like that again, sort of thing. It's something along those lines.
Yeah.
How do you feel, like... So when you were watching this film, did it make you think back to any of your sort of childhood days?
I mean, no, I didn't walk on train tracks.
Yeah, but it's not like you're watching that and like, I did that, but surely you had, like, friends that you kind of had that kind of,
See, okay, so here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Is, I don't know... Well, I know that back in those days, and, up until probably, like, the 90s, right?
Yeah.
It was so much more difficult for people to stay in contact, and, like, I remember coming out of primary school, and my parents being like, oh, well, you and LJ, you're going to the same school, but you might not stay friends, and all this stuff. I have been probably very lucky in that, like, my main friends from primary school have been my friends since primary school and are still my friends.
Yeah, I think that's quite
so,
rare.
Like, I don't... So when films do the whole, like, what a beautiful friendship, and then have the revelation, like, well, I didn't speak to him for 15 more years, I'm like, well, you didn't try hard enough. Which is the incorrect attitude to have, because I know that's not the only thing. But it is like, I'm like, well, I've done it. I
don't think that's the takeaway, though.
I know it's not. I know it's not. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it means that it sort of impacts me less when you have... Because I can imagine if you had super close friends and then you hadn't seen each other for like 15 years and you watch this film, get to that end and you're like, oh man, me and Steve haven't spoken for 15 years. Jesus. Like, I can see it being this real big, like, oh, it was inside me the whole time. But for me, I don't have that because I'm like, yeah, I have spoken to LJ.
Yeah, I have that less. I do have friends that I haven't spoken to, but just because, like...
You, like, actively cut them out, didn't you, Liam?
Yep. But also, like, no, but I feel like that's not the point it's even making. The point that it's that sort of thing is making isn't, oh, it's a shame we haven't spoken, I should have kept in touch. I think there's it's not a line that's spoken, but it's written in the film, where it's something along the lines of, I never had friends like the ones I had when I was 12. And it's just like, Jesus, who does? And I think that's the point. It's not that they haven't spoken in 15 years. It's that before you have like the distractions of girls and growing up and stuff, that friendship at that time period in your life is like even probably different. So like taking you, for example, the bond and friendship you had with like LJ when you was 12 probably is different to what you've got now. It
is, but it's not, I don't know. I think me and my friends have got closer the older we've gotten. Yeah,
and I'm not saying that, like, that's when you're...
But I see what you mean, yeah, it's a different type of friendship.
Yeah.
But I mean, also, Gordy has no friends at the end of the film, because he doesn't he sort of say he hasn't had... Oh, maybe he doesn't specifically say he hasn't had a friend, he just says, I haven't had friends like him, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, he has a family and stuff, he seems pretty, like, put together.
Well, yeah, that doesn't mean you have friends. You can have a family without having friends.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like, I don't get the impression that he has no friends. I get the impression he's sort of has a fairly normal life.
Yeah, maybe.
Anything else you want to say about it?
I don't know.
I have no critiques to give. Just praise. So I feel like I've gushed enough.
I mean, there must be something you don't like in this film.
No.
Okay.
There isn't, like... No, but there isn't. Like, it's one of my favourite films. It would be like me trying to critique Die Hard. Impossible.
Too much awesome.
That's not a bad thing sometimes.
No, I agree.
So, yeah. I think you make an interesting point about, maybe when you see the film, affects how much you enjoy it.
Yeah. I think nostalgia films... Like, I'm not saying this film isn't great, but especially when you see it at a younger age. Like, I know you were past the age they were at.
Yeah.
But, 16, 17, shit's still going on, and you're still going through that sort of time period.
Yeah. Well, not only, but obviously, like I was saying, like, coming of age, 50s America, it's perfect for me.
Yeah. You do have a fetish for it.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like, like, what would you say your most favourite film is of all time?
I don't know. I always answer Star Wars, but I don't know if it is my number one. My dad asked me this the other day, and I honestly don't know if I can pinpoint a film and say that is the best film I've ever seen. Because my issue is, right, as much as it doesn't sound like it from this episode, a lot of the stuff I watch, I do love. Like, I know there's been stuff that you suggested that I haven't, but if I enjoy something, I usually come out of it being like, holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah, you're a lot less fussy with these sort of things than I am.
Yeah, so which makes it harder to have a favourite, because I can't critique every film. Like, there are probably quite a few films that I would look at now and be like, I can't see anything wrong with this film.
Yeah.
But that doesn't help me then narrow down one that I love the most, because I'm but they're all great.
But I feel like there's certain things that would come up frequently in films that you like. Like, I feel like sort of space shit, alien
like
shit.
Sci-fi films are probably my favourite genre.
Yeah.
I'm
just wondering if there's like a film that, like in a way, I almost feel like Stand By Me is almost like made for me, because
that's fair.
It works so well. So I just wondered if there was any sort of film that you feel like it's just sort of, it feels very personal to you in that it ticks all of your boxes.
Okay. No, to be fair, maybe I have one. I absolutely love Firefly, the film.
Oh, really? Serenity?
Yeah, I love that. I can never remember which way around it is. The series is Firefly. The English release of the film was Serenity, right?
Yeah.
Or one. It's one of those fucking. That's ridiculous. But yes, that honestly, I love that movie.
Okay, that's an interesting choice, because obviously the show is so good that I feel like the film almost suffers because of it.
I watched the film first when I was younger.
So did I.
And I loved the film then. So then I went and found out there was when I found out there was a TV series, Liam, when I was at uni, I was like, oh my good lord, this is the best day of my life. And then found a TV series that I love and was like, cool. And then watched the film again and was like, oh my god, I still love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I watched that film for the first time when I was on a plane, I think going to Canada or something, and I thought it was okay, but like sci-fi isn't necessarily my bag.
That's fair enough. See, I don't know if it is my favourite film of all time, but it is a film that I feel like, I'm not saying Serenity is the best film ever.
No.
But
for you, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. I love that genre of sci-fi specifically, like the not laser beams and crazy shit.
Like the sort of sci-fi western almost.
Yeah, where shit's like they're flying around in a busted old ship.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I love that stuff. I think it's cool.
Okay, fair enough. We had some correspondence about Stand By Me.
Who emailed us?
Oh,
I've given it away because I know it's an email.
I was going to start with the tweets, actually.
Oh, I didn't even look at the tweets. Fair enough, there's multiple correspondences.
Yeah, Big Pick Reviews sent us a tweet saying, other than stating that it's one of the most perfect films ever made, nothing much to add. Sick balls, Chopper. Because I asked if anyone had any thoughts and opinions. So, we had an email as well from Kat Fyson, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Anyone who doesn't love Stand By Me is wrong.
Yep, fair enough.
So, and you didn't love it, did you?
No, I said it was a really good film.
But you didn't
This is the thing, Liam. I think your issue here is, like, I'm not, again, I want to clarify. I really enjoyed this film. I just don't think it's a great film for me.
And that's where...
Like, I feel like because you love it so much, no matter what I'd thought about this film, I was never going to come out of this looking like... People were always going to be like, oh, yeah, Jack's an idiot. Like, I don't think I could have come into this and looked fine against you.
Yeah, you could have loved it.
No, because I think I still would have come off worse. I'd have been like, I love this movie, and you'd have been like saying all this shit, and I'd have been like, I don't understand.
No, I think you could have watched it. You could be like, I love it, and then you could have been like, Liam, this was a brilliant film. Thank you. This is now my next
it was. Film. It was a really good film. I'm really glad that I've got to watch it.
Good.
Like, again, you're making it sound like I didn't like this film, which I did. I would watch this film again.
Right. The issue I think I'm having is the whole good but not great thing.
Yeah.
Like, I would understand if you said great but not perfect, but good but not great to me, like that feels like the difference between like a 3.5 and a 4-star film.
Right, well, it's
Good,
not that.
but not great.
Because you're aware that we disagree on the rating system. So why the fuck would you assume that?
Because I just assume things.
Right, exactly.
So what would you rate it?
4.
I mean, yeah, I said, yeah, good but not great, a 4. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's where I think you're wrong.
Yeah, what do you give it? 5 by any chance?
Yeah, easy 5. Easy 5.
I assume so.
Obviously. If you'd have said 4.5, fair, I'd have accepted that. But 4...
Okay, so here's my argument then. Here's my argument for why a 4 makes sense, right?
Okay. Yep.
Like you said, this film was made for you. You love coming-of-age films. You love the 50s. I couldn't give a shit about coming-of-age films. They're fine. I don't care. I've done my coming-of-age. I don't care about reliving it. 50s? Who gives a shit? 50s were boring. It's literally 60 years ago. That's not interesting. Go back to the Roman times, you got me. Go into the future, you got me. Not something that's this close to us. I don't care. So I give it a 4, Liam, because this film was not made for me. But I liked it a lot.
Next time on Nerd on Nerd.
We're doing something future-y.
So again, this is something that I feel like will be made for you.
No, I think you'll like this.
Right, I had a quick read of the plot description.
Please stop reading shit. You know the rules. We don't.
Well, I was looking it up and I just sort of my eyes literally just wandered over it. Like, I didn't even read it properly.
That's
just
fine.
Flipped.
Don't read any more, please.
Okay.
Because it annoys me. You prejudge stuff too easily.
Yeah, I did look at the cover and thought, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, you literally looked at the cover and went to me, I'm not going to like this. And I said, why? And you went, I looked at the cover. Which is not a fucking good start, Liam.
But, like, space stuff doesn't, like, jazz me up like it does
It's
you.
not all space stuff. This is the thing. You're assuming straight away what this thing's about.
Well, the cover is, like, 3 dudes in spacesuits with weird symbols.
But that's what I'm saying, Liam. Stop judging shit just because you've looked at a cover.
What's the thing called that we're doing?
Nameless.
I just wanted to get the cover up just to... Yeah, 3 dudes in... Yeah, I was right. I wasn't sure if it was 3 dudes or not, but yeah, in spacesuits.
Yeah, no,
with
it's
weird
3.
symbols.
It's 3 people wearing spacesuits.
But it's not sci-fi, right?
It is sci-fi.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Mixed with other stuff. I just... there's honestly... Listeners, this is my issue. There's no fucking point me suggesting stuff on this show.
No, there is...
What am I meant to do, Liam? Because honestly, I can't give you anything because you immediately... Anime, you went in thinking you were going to hate it. Don't pretend you didn't. You did. You went in being like, I don't like anime. So you don't try and understand these things.
How did I go in being like, I don't like anime? I went in being like, I've seen a couple of really good anime films.
Yeah, films. You didn't want to watch any of the anime because you said it was all for kids. We had a conversation about it, Liam, before, not on the show, but me and you had a conversation where you were like, I don't think I'm going to like it.
Yeah, well, that panned out, didn't it?
Yeah, you didn't like it because you judged it immediately. Like, I can't give you anything.
That you've suggested that I did like.
Like what?
Struggling to think, but I'm sure there's.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't. You just immediately go, I'm not going to like it, and then you don't.
No, John dies at the end. I was well up for watching. Like, it's a shame it wasn't better, but I was very keen to.
Yeah,
watch
but I
that.
agree with you on that one. That film isn't as good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, what else have you recommended? The Santa Claus. I enjoyed that.
The Christmas films do not count.
How do they not count? I enjoyed it so much that I then watched the 2 sequels.
Yeah, exactly. They don't count because I don't love the Santa Claus as much as you do. Like, that's not me giving you a greatest movie of all time and being like, oh, Liam, I can't wait for you to watch the Santa Claus. That was me being like, we need to pick a fucking Christmas film.
I mean, it's something that you recommended, though.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Alright, what else have you recommended, then?
I don't fucking know.
Any video games?
All I'm not even asking for you to like something that I recommend. That's not my issue, Liam. I'm fine with us talking about it afterwards. I'm not okay with you literally in the episode before we are talking about this. You are basically saying I don't like this.
I think it's important to give my first impressions, so if they then change, people can be like, "Oh wow."
No, it's not. Oh, okay. I see what's gone wrong. Let me just set up a new rule for Nerd on Nerd. I don't give a shit about your first impressions. Get them when you get the book. That's fine. I don't want to hear it in the episode where I tell you what we're doing. That's the new rule for Nerd on Nerd.
I'm not sure that's a rule I can stick to. No, because right. So like when I recommend you something like Snail, I say to you, "Have you heard of it, or is it anything you're aware of?"
Yeah,
about
and
it?
I go, no.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What?
You don't go and look up these things. You watch them or read them, because our whole point of this show is that we discuss these things together. I don't want to get a second-hand opinion because you read someone or like some dude online was like, I don't like this film, and then you're like, what are his reasons? Then you do that before you've seen it.
No, you know I don't do that. I don't read what other people think. But if there's like a very brief plot synopsis, unless you're like, don't read anything, I can't help it if my eyes flick across
I don't want to
it.
have to say that every episode. Fine. From now on, every time I suggest you something, I'm going to say, please don't read anything.
Okay, that's fair enough. But I can't help but look at the cover when I'm ordering it on Amazon.
Yeah, but I just wish you wouldn't judge it from that.
It's
fair enough to be like, I don't like this cover. I wouldn't have had an issue with that.
Well, there is that.
But you're
saying,
like, I'm not going to like
that
this.
saying called where it says you shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, which is what you're fucking doing.
Then I would argue, well, what's the point of having books with covers?
Not to judge the whole thing on. What are you talking about?
Look, I might like it, okay? You know me.
No, you're not going to. You're not
going
like, listeners, next time we do a podcast, it's going to be obvious that Liam doesn't like it.
No,
so what
I'll
I'm
read it
going
with
to do
an
is
open
I'll just
mind.
talk to you guys. You're not going to go
Here's-
in with an open mind.
Here's the difference, which I've said before. I will recommend stuff that I will think... I'll think about what I'm recommending, and I'll be like, I think Jack will like this.
Oh, let me just really quickly check our WhatsApp history, Liam. From when I read Nameless, which I think was the last few months I was at the flat, when I believe we had a message conversation where I said, Liam, I found something that I think you're really going to like. And I sent you a cool picture, and you said, oh, that looks interesting. You should do it on the podcast. And I said, oh, okay, I will. That's this, Liam.
Don't remember
So
that.
don't fuck... Yeah, so fuck right off, because that is exactly what I've done this time.
Okay,
Something
so-
that I think you'd
so
like.
if
And then when I
that's the
try,
case-
you
No,
just
no, no.
immediately go, I'm not going to like it.
If that is the case, I might, next episode, turn around and go, you know what, Jack? My first impressions were very wrong. This is brilliant.
No, you're going to have to say your second impressions, because these are your second impressions, Liam. Your first impressions were when we had a fucking conversation about it, and I
don't
sent you
remember
pictures.
that. That's true, though. I don't remember it, but that's true. Look, I might like it, okay? But from the cover, I'm not sold. That's all I'm saying.
Whatever.
But I'll read it.
Listeners,
I'll read it.
please let me know how you felt about this. I will also check the Twitter account to get these things.
Yeah,
If you haven't read it, go read it before our next episode.
Yeah, so and one of the things that bothers me, which isn't like an issue against the story or anything itself, but I hate hardcover comics. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You can be angry about hardcover comics, but you can't
Thank
use
you.
it against the story.
No. It's just going to be really fucking cumbersome to read because hardcovers don't, work well for comics, I don't think. You can't just flick through a hardcover, can you? The covers get in the way.
No, I managed to do it.
But it's fine, it's fine. It might be good.
You're trying so hard now.
To what?
I've given up, mate. Don't worry about it.
That's fine, yeah.
You're trying so hard to retract because I'm so annoyed that you've prejudged this. You're trying so hard to redeem it, and I'm just not okay.
It's fine, honestly, Jack.
Sure.
The thing is, if I do read this now and absolutely hate it, you look right. So I'm in a lose-lose situation, really.
No. If you come with reasonable arguments for why you hate it, that's fine. If your argument is, I read the cover and I hate it, I'm not going to be okay.
Well, I've never given you a reason like that for not liking something.
No, and I hope you fucking don't start now.
No, I wouldn't dream of it, Jack.
Good.
This has been Nerd on Nerd, where we always...
Fall out, argue.
Yeah. But, here's the thing. We listen. Even when the
Yeah.
other person is being very wrong, and it happens with, frequency, we still listen, and then we get on with our lives.
Yeah, we also don't want to kill each other. We're actually very good friends.
Yeah. It might not sound like it, but that's fine.
Oh, if you want to get in contact with us,
How would they do that?
they can tweet us, Liam, at nerdonnerd.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can email us at nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com.
Okay, yeah.
Where could they go if they want to see us, Liam?
Oh, well, things have changed, and we got to thank Tom for pointing this out. You no longer have to faff around typing Nerd on Nerd, it's called a flashlight, or fleshlight. If you just type in Nerd on Nerd, all one word, into YouTube, we pop up.
Way, we've made it, guys.
So that's progress. If we can get to, I think it's 20 subscribers, we can have our own, custom URL. So, eight subscribers away, if you wouldn't mind. That would help. They could also leave us a nice little review on iTunes, couldn't they?
Yes, you could. That would be super helpful.
If they were going to do that, what should they do?
I mean, they should give us 5 stars.
5 stars? I think we've earned it.
I think so.
Yeah, we've done this for
Right.
a year now. I mean, that's worth 5 stars alone.
Yeah. I mean, for real listeners, just rate us anything, please. Dear God.
No. Ooh, no.
Anything above 3.
4 or 5. Yeah. Don't be rating us low.
Sorry.
That's mean.
Please don't give us 1s.
That would be really mean. And the thing is, if you rate the show highly, I believe it will help us in some way.
Yeah,
when I
think it
listen
does.
to
It
other
bumps us up the
podcasts,
charts.
yeah, when I listen to other podcasts, I was like, oh, if you give us high ratings on iTunes, it helps us carry on the show. So I guess it looks good for in advertisements or something?
Yeah, sure. Who knows, Liam? We don't understand podcasting.
No, that's obvious. You could also follow us on Facebook.
Yep, we've got a page.
Nerd on Nerd.
Yep.
Perfect. And if you're listening on SoundCloud, there's handy links to all these things, apart from the email address, but we've told you that, so it's fine. So you could just click on us and find us on social medias, and we're on the internet. It's fine. Find us, Nerd on Nerd. It's brilliant.
Yeah, we're everywhere. We're not everywhere.
We're not everywhere, but we're some places at least.
Bye.
How good is that song?
It's very good.
Correct. Bye.